What if everything you've been told about the perfect body was wrong? What if the same body people criticize is the exact reason millions are watching? What if one woman, simply by being herself, didn't just gain followers but sparked a cultural conversation? This is the story of Autumn Nelson, better known as Body Auty, not just another influencer but a symbol of a shift in beauty standards, in self-identity, and in how we think about bodies in the age of social media. And today, we're going deep, not just surface level, not just highlight reel. We're talking about her past, her rise, the reactions, the business, and most importantly, the impact of her journey. If you want real context behind viral internet figures, hit subscribe and let's go deep. Long before social media fame, Autumn Nelson's story began like so many of ours, with questions about identity, confidence, and belonging. Growing up, society consistently presented one dominant narrative about beauty: slim, symmetrical, filtered, perfect. This narrative wasn't just a suggestion. It was reinforced through magazines, TV shows, movies, and eventually Instagram and TikTok. When you don't fit that mold, it's common to internalize some version of self-doubt. Am I attractive? Am I enough? Will people accept me as I am? These questions follow people long before they ever pick up a camera. Autumn was no different. But where so many respond to this internal pressure by trying to change themselves, Autumn took something different. She started to question the narrative itself. Instead of bending toward an ideal, she began to embrace her shape, her curves, her presence. This shift wasn't instantaneous or easy, it was gradual, uneven, human. When Autumn first entered the online space, she wasn't a model, she wasn't polished, she wasn't playing by anyone else's rules. She posted as herself. Not perfect, not filtered, not curated. Just her. She adopted the name Body Auty, a phrase that didn't mean ideal body, but something different: body authority. A declaration. This is my body, this is my narrative, this is my Auty authenticity. And from the very first videos, you could sense something different. People weren't just watching, they were feeling seen. That's a crucial distinction. Today, social media is saturated with carefully constructed images of perfection, faces filtered, bodies sculpted, lighting engineered. But when someone shows realness, real movement, real emotion, real personality, it cuts through the noise. And that's what Autumn did. She wasn't polished, she was relatable. That relatability wasn't a flaw, it became her strength. At first, the growth was incremental. Followers trickled in, people resonated, related, shared her posts with friends. Her audience wasn't a demographic defined by age or location, it was people with one shared experience. They saw themselves in her story. But as her content matured, so did her reach. Her follower count began to climb faster, exponentially. Her engagement grew, comments, saves, shares. And people began to talk. Not just casually, passionately. Some responses were encouraging. She makes me feel comfortable in my own skin. She's relatable, like a real person, not a perfected model. Finally, someone who doesn't pretend perfection. But with attention came scrutiny. Others pushed back. She's too curvy. She's sending the wrong message. She shouldn't showcase that. This reaction wasn't just about aesthetics, it was cultural friction. And here's why. For decades, beauty standards were dictated by a narrow frame, thin bodies displayed as ideal, especially in mainstream media. But social media democratized image creation. Now anyone with a phone could share their story. Now anyone could gather an audience. Now influence didn't need permission from Hollywood or magazines. You didn't need to fit the mold to shape the conversation. Autumn didn't just post pictures, she represented a different way of being seen. And that made some people uncomfortable. Let's pause for a moment and look at the psychology behind this. Why does authenticity resonate so deeply? Why do so many people connect with real over perfect? It's because realness triggers something fundamental in us. Empathy. Perfection feels distant, unreachable, but authenticity feels possible, relatable, human. And when people see someone being real, especially about body confidence, it strikes a chord. It's not the image, it's the experience. And that difference is profound. Autumn didn't just show a body, she shared humanity. And the world responded. Of course, as her platform grew, the nature of her influence evolved. This wasn't just content anymore, it became a career. Welcome to the creator economy, a space where individuals turn influence into income, opportunity, and impact. Autumn didn't just gain followers, she gained access to brand partnerships, sponsored collaborations, lifestyle campaigns, monetized content. These are not random. They're part of how modern digital influence functions, especially when tied to themes like body positivity, confidence building, fitness lifestyle journeys, mental well-being, empowerment narratives. Brands paying for ads today aren't chasing surface beauty, they're chasing authentic trust. And audiences reward authenticity with engagement, which drives even higher CPMs for creators. This means that stories like Autumn's aren't just inspiring, they are commercially valuable. And that's where influence meets economics. Now let's dig into some real cultural context. For years, mainstream representations of beauty were narrow, slim bodies, easy lighting, controlled angles. But social media expanded the playing field, and Autumn became part of that expansion. Suddenly, bodies that once weren't centered could be seen, and seen authentically. But authenticity comes with vulnerability. And when someone is vulnerable, open about who they are, people don't just watch, they respond. Not always with applause, sometimes with projection, criticism, and debate. Why? Because identity challenges norms. Identity challenges assumptions. And authenticity asks a question society isn't always prepared to answer. What is beauty really? Is it defined by an outdated ideal? Or is it defined by confidence, self-acceptance, and expression? Autumn didn't start a debate, she became a figure in the existing conversation. And people responded with passion. That's influence. If you're finding value in this story, go ahead and like the video. It helps this narrative reach people who may be struggling with their own self-perception. And if you want more breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe with notifications. Let's talk about impact. What does Autumn's rise tell us about culture? It tells us that people are hungry for representation. It tells us that perfection fatigue is real. And it tells us that authenticity, not cosmetic ideals, is combustible in the digital age. This movement isn't limited to one person. It's part of a larger cultural wave. People are redefining confidence, self-worth, identity, beauty, empowerment, and they're doing it on their own terms. Social media gave them a platform. Autumn gave them a mirror. And when millions see themselves reflected back with acceptance, something shifts. That's why the reactions range from praise to criticism. Because this isn't just about appearance, it's about self-image in a world drowning in comparison. And that's why her content resonates. Now let's explore some real fan reactions without sensationalism to highlight the emotional resonance of Autumn's presence. Across comments, people have said things like, "She makes me feel confident to wear what I want. She helped me stop comparing myself. She shows that confidence isn't about size, it's about presence." These aren't shallow comments, they reflect deep emotional shifts. Social media often reinforces insecurity. Autumn's presence does the opposite, it reinforces acceptance. In that reversal, it's powerful and rare. At the same time, criticism exists. People question what standard she represents, whether confidence should be normalized, whether this influences young audiences. These aren't trivial questions, they reflect society's internal conflict about identity, expectation, and evolution. But let's be clear. Criticism often stems from resistance to change, not from a place of deep understanding. When norms shift, discomfort happens. But it's not a reason to cancel evolution. It's a reason to understand it. Autumn didn't start a war on beauty, she opened a dialogue. And that dialogue matters. If this story is resonating with you, go ahead and comment below with your biggest takeaway so far. I want to hear your thoughts. Now let's bring in deeper cultural analysis. Autumn's journey is not isolated, it is part of a broader movement that includes body positivity advocates, self-love communities, empowerment educators, mental health awareness campaigns, diversity in media representation. These movements have grown because people want authenticity, not artificial standards. And this growth isn't just emotional, it's measurable. Content that is authentic drives deeper engagement, higher retention, stronger community bonds, better monetization opportunities. Advertisers are aware of this shift, and they pay premium CPMs for content that connects emotionally and builds trust. Because trust equals influence, and influence equals value. Let's pause for another reflection. The real story here isn't about Autumn's body. It's about her impact. It's about how one person's decision to show up authentically challenged assumptions, sparked conversation, empowered others, shifted perspective, influenced culture. And that's why this story matters. Not because of followers, not because of pictures, but because of people. People who see themselves. People who feel seen. People who find confidence. That's influence. Before we continue, if you're finding this deep dive inspiring, smash that like button and subscribe for more stories like this. Now let's extend this even further into future implications. Autumn's presence online is part of a larger generational shift. Younger audiences, especially Gen Z and Gen Alpha, are redefining beauty standards, self-identity, authenticity, empowerment, community values. This generation isn't searching for perfection, they're searching for connection. Connection over comparison, authenticity over imitation, conversation over censorship. And Autumn's rise points directly to this trend. Her presence resonates with people who are tired of perfection and hungry for genuine representation. And that's not a temporary trend, it's a lasting shift. I'll see you in the next video.